The hallways of Westlake High School buzzed with the usual Monday morning chaos. Lockers slammed, friends shouted across corridors, and everyone rushed to beat the bell. Nobody paid much attention to the tall girl walking beside the guidance counselor, nobody except Dani, who always noticed the new kids because she remembered how it felt. "This is your locker," the counselor said, handing over a schedule. "Good luck on your first day, Zara." Zara nodded politely, waiting until the counselor disappeared before letting her shoulders relax. This was her third school in 2 years. Her mom's job kept them moving, and Zara had learned the art of blending in. "Just get through the day," she whispered to herself, spinning the combination lock. Back at her old school, Zara had been somebody, captain of the debate team, on a roll every semester, and most importantly, regional champion in mixed martial arts, with trophies collecting dust in boxes they hadn't unpacked yet. But nobody here needed to know that. Fresh starts meant clean slates. The warning bell rang, sending students scurrying. Zara followed the crowd, trying to make sense of the school map. Turning a corner too quickly, she collided with someone. "Watch it," a boy snapped, coffee splashing from his cup. "Sorry, I didn't." The hallway suddenly went quiet. Students stepped back, creating space around them. Zara noticed the expensive sneakers first, then the varsity jacket. The boy looked down at her through narrowed eyes, taking in her thrift store jeans and simple backpack. "You're new," he said, not a question but an observation. Something in his tone made Zara's skin prickle. She'd dealt with boys like him before, the ones who believed the world belonged to them. "Yeah. Sorry about your coffee," she said, keeping her voice neutral. Never show fear, her sensei had taught her, but never escalate unnecessarily either. A girl stepped forward, touching the boy's arm. "Come on, Alex, we'll be late for class." Alex's eyes lingered on Zara another moment before he smirked. "Whatever. Just stay out of my way next time." As they walked away, whispers erupted around her. "That's Alex Chen," said a voice beside her. Zara turned to find a girl with bright purple hair offering a friendly smile. His dad owned half the businesses in town, including the company that sponsors all the school's sports teams. Even Principal Walters kisses up to him. "I'm Zara," she replied, grateful for the friendly face. "I'm Dani. Come on, I'll show you where Ms. Rivera's class is." As they walked, Dani filled her in. Alex was the basketball star taking the team to state championships. His family donated the new gym. Teachers looked the other way when he bullied others. Students either feared him or wanted to be in his circle. "Just keep your head down," Dani advised as they reached the classroom. "Alex likes easy targets, and new kids are his favorite." Zara slipped into an empty desk, observing the classroom dynamics. She noticed how students tensed when Alex entered, how they shifted to make space, how some tried too hard to gain his approval while others became practically invisible. She'd seen this before, schools changed, but the hierarchy remained the same. Boys like Alex existed everywhere. By lunchtime, Zara had made 2 friends, Dani and Lee, who saved her a seat at their table far from where Alex held court, surrounded by athletes and pretty girls who'd laughed too loudly at his jokes. "You're doing great for a new kid," Lee said, offering her half his cookie. Zara smiled, finally relaxing. She could handle this school. She would keep her head down, focus on grades, and count the days until graduation. What she didn't know was that Alex had already noticed her again, and he didn't like how quickly she'd found her place. He especially didn't like that she hadn't seemed impressed by him. Nobody disrespected Alex Chen. The new girl needed to learn that lesson, and soon. For the first week, Zara managed to keep a low profile. She answered questions when teachers called on her, but never raised her hand. She ate lunch with Dani and Lee, walking the long way around the cafeteria to avoid Alex's table. But avoiding someone like Alex Chen was impossible in a school where he ruled like a king. It started small. Alex accidentally knocked her books from her hands as he passed her in the hallway. His friends snickered. Zara said nothing, just picked up her things and continued to class. The next day, he stood behind her in the lunch line. "Nice hair," he whispered, too low for others to hear. "Did you cut it yourself in the dark?" Zara's cheeks burned, but she kept her eyes forward. Dani had warned her. Alex was testing her, looking for a reaction. "Ignore him," Lee advised later. He'll get bored eventually. But ignoring Alex only seemed to interest him more. When Mrs. Parker assigned lab partners in chemistry, Zara's stomach dropped as she heard her name paired with his. Alex smirked from across the room, high-fiving his friend as if he'd won something. "Just my luck," Zara muttered, gathering her books. "Try not to blow anything up with the weirdo," one of Alex's friends called as she made her way to his table. The experiment was simple: identify unknown substances through chemical reactions. Zara had done similar labs at her previous school and worked efficiently, taking careful notes while Alex played with his phone. "Are you planning to help at all?" she finally asked. Alex glanced up. "Why, you seem to have it under control." "That's not the point of partners." He shrugged, returning to his phone. "I'll put my name on it." When Mrs. Parker came around to check their progress, she was impressed. "Excellent observations, Alex. I see you've identified almost all the substances correctly." "Actually, Zara began. "We work well together," Alex interrupted with a charming smile. Mrs. Parker beamed. "I knew pairing you two would be productive." As she walked away, Zara shook her head. "You didn't do anything." "I didn't stop you from showing off," he countered. "You should be thanking me." The following day, Mrs. Parker handed back their lab reports. "Highest grade in the class," she announced, placing their paper on the desk. "Alex and Zara have set the bar high." The praise should have felt good, but the way Alex's friends stared at her made Zara's skin crawl. She'd broken an unwritten rule: nobody outshined Alex Chen, especially not the new girl. At lunch, Zara was working on her history project, a poster about civil rights movements, when a shadow fell across her table. "Looks boring," Alex said, setting his drink dangerously close to her work. "I need to finish it," Zara replied, not looking up. "You made me look bad in chemistry." His voice had an edge now. "Acting all smart." "I wasn't acting." His friends behind him laughed, then stopped abruptly when Alex's expression darkened. The cafeteria had grown quieter, students watching from the corners of their eyes. "You think you're better than everyone?" Alex asked, his voice carrying. "I never said that." Zara began gathering her materials, sensing danger. What happened next seemed to unfold in slow motion. Alex's hand moved, his drink tipping over. Brown liquid spilled across her poster, soaking through the paper and ruining hours of work. "Oops," he said with mock concern, then in a voice loud enough for everyone to hear, added, "What's wrong? Why are you getting mad? You look like an angry monkey." The cafeteria fell completely silent. Even Alex's friends shifted uncomfortably. "Apologize," Zara said quietly, hands trembling not from fear but from restraint. Years of martial arts training had taught her control, but right now that control was slipping. "Or what?" Alex leaned closer. "You gonna cry about it, monkey girl?" A teacher finally noticed the commotion and headed toward them. Alex straightened, innocent expression sliding into place. "Just a little accident," he explained, as Zara's project dripped onto the floor. Later, in the counselor's office, Zara recounted what happened. "I understand you're upset," Ms. Wilson said sympathetically, "but Alex's family is going through some things right now. Try not to provoke him." "Provoke him?" "He ruined my project and called me." "Boys will be boys," Ms. Wilson interrupted, "and Alex isn't used to competition. Maybe try being less noticeable." That night, Zara sat on her bed, phone in hand, scrolling to a number she hadn't called in months. Her old sensei had always given her good advice. She hit dial, wondering if it was time to stop hiding who she really was. "You need to know your place," Alex muttered as he passed Zara in the hallway the next morning. His friends snickered, but she pretended not to hear. The call with her old sensei had been exactly what she needed. Power isn't about dominating others, he'd reminded her. It's about controlling yourself when it would be easier not to. Still, Zara felt the weight of everyone's stares. News traveled fast in high schools. By now, everyone had heard about the cafeteria incident. "You okay?" Danny asked, joining her at their usual lunch table. Lee slid in beside them, placing a candy bar in front of Zara. "Stress food," he explained with a small smile. Zara unwrapped the chocolate, breaking it into 3 pieces to share. "I'm fine, just tired of walking on eggshells." Across the cafeteria, Alex held court at his table. He kept looking over, making sure she noticed him watching. He's been worse lately, Danny whispered. His dad's company is having problems. The basketball team lost their last game. He's looking for someone to take it out on. And I'm the perfect target, Zara sighed. After school, Zara stayed late to redo her ruined history project. The halls were quiet except for the distant sound of basketball practice in the gym. She worked quickly, wanting to catch the late bus. Pushing through the side exit, Zara stepped into the student parking lot just as the sky opened up. Rain poured down, soaking her instantly. Perfect, she muttered, pulling her jacket over her head. The late bus wouldn't arrive for another 20 minutes. She didn't notice Raj, a quiet boy from her math class, until he was right beside her, sheltering beneath the small overhang. Hey, he said awkwardly. You should know something. Zara glanced at him, surprised. They'd barely spoken before. I'd overheard Alex in the locker room. Raj continued, lowering his voice. He and his friends. They're planning something. For tomorrow. What do you mean? Raj shifted uncomfortably. They're going to wait for you after school. In the north parking lot. The one where the security cameras have been broken for months. Zara felt a chill that had nothing to do with the rain. Why are you telling me this? My sister transferred schools last year because of guys like Alex, Raj said simply. Nobody warned her. A car horn honked. Raj spotted his ride and hurried toward it, calling over his shoulder, just avoid that lot tomorrow, okay? That night, Zara paced her bedroom. She could take a different exit tomorrow. She could ask her mom to pick her up. She could report what Rach had told her, though she doubted anyone would believe it. Or she could face Alex. Her tournament trophies caught the light from her bedside lamp. For 2 years, she'd hidden this part of herself, wanting to be normal, to fit in. But maybe normal wasn't working anymore. Zara picked up her phone and dialed her mom's work number. Mom, can we talk when you get home? It's important. 3 hours later, Zara sat at the kitchen table with her mother, everything finally out in the open, the bullying, the racist comments, and now the planned ambush. I'll call the principal first thing tomorrow, her mum said, face tight with anger. No. Zara shook her head. They won't do anything. The counselor already made that clear. Then I'll pick you up after school. We'll avoid this entirely. Zara took a deep breath. Mom, I've been running and hiding since we moved here. And before that, at the last school too. I'm tired of it. What are you saying? I'm saying I want to handle this myself. Her mother's eyes widened. Zara, no. These boys sound dangerous. I'm not talking about fighting, Zara assured her, though that wasn't entirely true. But I need to face him. Otherwise, he'll just keep coming after me. And if he doesn't get me tomorrow, he'll find another target. Her mother studied her face for a long moment. Your sensei always said you were his most disciplined student. I remember everything he taught me, Zara promised. About restraint. About using my skills responsibly. And if things go wrong, then I'll walk away. Call you immediately. The kitchen clock ticked loudly in the silence between them. Finally, her mother squeezed her hand. Remember what Sensei Liu always told you about power and responsibility, she said softly. Zara nodded, relief and determination flowing through her in equal measure. I will. Tomorrow, Alex Chen would learn that he picked the wrong girl to mess with. The school day crawled by. Zara checked the clock every few minutes, her stomach tight with anticipation. For once, Alex had left her alone, but his smirks across the classroom told her he was just waiting. When the final bell rang, Zara packed her bag slowly. Danny appeared at her desk, concern written across her face. Want to grab ice cream? My mom can drive us. Thanks, but I have something to take care of, Zara replied. Is this about Alex? Raj told me what he overheard. Zara shouldered her backpack. I'll be fine. Zara, don't be stupid. Alex has 4 guys with him. Just go home a different way. And then what? Zara asked. Tomorrow it'll be something else. Or they'll go after someone who can't defend themselves. Danny stared at her. What do you mean? You can't seriously think you can take on Alex and his friends? Zara just smiled. Go home, Danny. I'll call you later. The north parking lot was deserted when Zara arrived. Most students had already caught their buses or drives. Rain from yesterday had left puddles on the cracked asphalt. Perfect, she thought. Less chance of anyone getting hurt falling. She didn't have to wait long. Alex appeared first, sauntering around the corner of the building. His 4 friends fanned out behind him, all basketball players, all at least a head taller than her. Zara recognized them from the team poster in the main hallway. She set her backpack down carefully beside a puddle, buying time to steady her breathing the way Sensei Liu had taught her. Center yourself. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Well, look who decided to show up, Alex called, his voice echoing across the empty lot. Thought you might run home crying to Mommy. Zara said nothing, just watched as they formed a loose circle around her. 5 against 1. Not great odds, but she'd faced worse in tournaments. Not talking now. Alex stepped closer. You had plenty to say yesterday. I'm giving you a chance, Zara said quietly. Walk away. All of you. The boys laughed, exchanging glances. Hear that? She's giving us a chance. Alex's friend Trent mocked. What are you gonna do, monkey girl? Throw your banana at us? Zara felt heat rise in her chest, but kept her voice level. Last warning. Back off. Alex's face darkened. He stepped forward and shoved her hard. Or at least he tried to. Zara sidestepped smoothly, letting his momentum carry him forward. He stumbled, almost falling into the puddle she'd positioned herself beside. The circle of boys went quiet. What there? Alex spun around, face flushed with embarrassment. I've studied martial arts since I was 7, Zara explained calmly. 6 years of competitions, 3 state championships. This doesn't have to get ugly. Alex glared. You think I'm scared of some karate kid nonsense? It's judo and jiu-jitsu, actually, Zara corrected. And you should be. Alex lunged again, this time swinging his arm in a wild punch. Zara blocked it easily, redirecting his force and using his own weight to pull him off balance. He toppled sideways, landing hard on his knee. That's enough, Alex, she said. Go home. But pride is a dangerous thing. Alex scrambled to his feet, nodding to his friends. Get her. What happened next was almost a blur. Years of training took over as Zara moved without thinking. She didn't attack. She didn't need to. Every grab was countered, every rush sidestepped. One boy dove for her legs. She pivoted, sending him sprawling into another. When Trent grabbed her from behind, she dropped her weight, flipping him over her shoulder into a puddle. Within minutes, all 5 boys were on the ground, soaked and muddy. Not injured. Zara had been careful about that, but thoroughly humiliated. Had enough? She asked, not even breathing hard. From the corner of her eye, Zara noticed movement. Several students had gathered at the edge of the parking lot, phones out, recording everything. Among them stood Raj, eyes wide with disbelief. Alex struggled to his feet, water dripping from his expensive jacket. For the first time, Zara saw real fear in his eyes. You're crazy, he spat. No, Zara replied. I'm just done being your target. One by one, Alex's friends picked themselves up, backing away until only Alex remained, staring at her with a mixture of shock and rage. This isn't over, he threatened, but his voice shook. Zara picked up her backpack, slinging it over her shoulder. Yes, it is. But what happens next is up to you. She turned and walked away, legs trembling now that the adrenaline was fading. Behind her, she heard the murmur of voices, the clicks of phone cameras, the sound of a story spreading that would change everything. By morning, everyone had seen the videos. They spread through group chats and social media overnight. Shaky footage of the new girl taking down 5 basketball players without breaking a sweat. Some clips had already gotten thousands of views. Zara felt the stares as she walked to her locker. Conversation stopped. People pointed. Some looked afraid, others impressed. Nobody knew quite what to make of her anymore. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen, Lee whispered when he caught up with her. Why didn't you tell us you were basically a ninja? Because I wanted to be normal for once, Zara replied, grabbing her books. Well, that ship has sailed, Danny said, joining them. Principal Thomas is looking for you, by the way. His secretary came to homeroom. Zara's stomach dropped. She'd known there would be consequences, but had hoped for at least a day to enjoy her victory. The main office was unusually busy when she arrived. Through the glass partition, she could see Principal Thomas in his office with Alex and a man in an expensive suit who could only be Alex's father. They were both red-faced, gesturing angrily. "Miss Chen, Principal Thomas will see you now," the secretary said, not meeting her eyes. Zara took a deep breath and entered the office. "Absolutely unacceptable," Mr. Chen was saying. "My son could have been seriously injured. I demand this girl be expelled immediately." "Sit down, please, Zara," Principal Thomas said. He looked tired and uncomfortable. "Mr. Chen has brought some very disturbing allegations about an incident yesterday." "You mean when his son and 4 friends tried to jump me in the parking lot?" Zara asked, keeping her voice calm despite her racing heart. "That's a lie," Alex protested. "We were just talking and she went crazy on us." 5 against 1 is some conversation, Zara said. Principal Thomas held up his hand. "Regardless of who started what, fighting on school grounds is strictly against our policy." "I'm afraid you're looking at suspension, Zara." "What?" Zara couldn't believe what she was hearing. "I was defending myself." "From what?" Mr. Chen demanded. "My son has never been in trouble before. He's the star of the basketball team. Why would he risk that by attacking some nobody?" The unfairness of it all made Zara's throat tight. This was exactly why she'd never wanted to stand out. People like the Chens always won in the end. Before she could respond, there was a knock at the door. The secretary poked her head in. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but there are some students here who say they need to speak with you. They say it's urgent." To everyone's surprise, Rage entered, followed by at least 10 other students Zara barely recognized. Some wore glasses or braces, others had the unmistakable look of kids who preferred books to sports. The quiet ones. The invisible ones. "What is the meaning of this interruption?" Principal Thomas demanded. "We need to talk about Alex," Raj said, his voice wavering slightly before steadying. "And not just about yesterday." One by one, the students began to speak. A sophomore described being locked in a janitor's closet for an hour. A junior showed pictures of hateful messages written on his locker. A freshman girl explained how Alex had spread rumors about her that made her switch classes. "I reported the closet incident," one boy said. "I had a video showing who did it. Nothing happened." Principal Thomas shifted in his seat. "These are very serious accusations." "I have proof." Raj pulled out his phone. "Text messages, videos, everything. We've all been documenting it, but we were too scared to come forward alone." Mr. Chen's face had gone from red to pale. "This is absurd. A conspiracy against my son." The door opened again. This time, it was Zara's mother, still wearing her work badge. "I apologize for being late. Traffic was terrible," she said, moving to stand behind Zara's chair. "I understand my daughter is being suspended for defending herself against 5 attackers." "Mrs. Johnson, aye." "That's Dr. Johnson," she corrected. "And before you continue, you should know that I've been documenting every incident my daughter has reported to the school, including the racist remarks that were ignored by your counselor." She placed a folder on the desk. "I also have the names of 3 lawyers specialized in school bullying cases should we need them." The atmosphere in the room shifted. Principal Thomas looked from the folder to the group of students still standing by the door, then to Mr. Chen, whose confident demeanor had crumbled. "Perhaps," the principal said slowly, "we should review all the evidence before making any decisions about suspension." 3 days had passed since the meeting in Principal Thomas's office. 3 days of whispers, stares, and a strange new respect that followed Zara through the hallways. But she wasn't the only one people were talking about. "Suspended for 2 weeks, Danny whispered as they sat in the cafeteria, "and kicked off the basketball team until further review." "Who told you that?" Zara asked, picking at her lunch. "My cousin works in the front office. She said Alex's dad was shouting so loud they could hear him through the walls." Lee leaned forward. "That's not all. Coach Rivera had to cancel practice yesterday because half the team is benched pending investigation. Turns out they've been bullying kids for years." Zara felt no satisfaction in this news. She hadn't wanted to destroy the basketball team or ruin anyone's future. She just wanted the harassment to stop. "Do you regret it?" Danny asked, reading her expression. "No," Zara said after a moment, "but I wish it hadn't come to that." The PA system crackled. "Zara Johnson, please report to the principal's office." Everyone in the cafeteria turned to stare. Zara gathered her things, stomach knotting with anxiety. Maybe Mr. Chen had found a way to get her expelled after all. But when she entered the office, she found Principal Thomas alone, looking more tired than angry. "Please, sit down," he said, gesturing to the chair across from his desk. "I want to apologize." Of all the things Zara had expected, an apology wasn't on the list. She sat cautiously. "I've spent the last few days reviewing every complaint filed against Alex Chen and his friends," Principal Thomas continued. "There were 37 incidents over the past 2 years that were either ignored or minimized by this administration. By me." He removed his glasses, rubbing the bridge of his nose. "I let myself be influenced by Mr. Chen's donations to our athletic program. I convinced myself that teenagers will be teenagers. I failed in my duty to keep all students safe." "What happens now?" Zara asked. "Alex is suspended, as you know. He'll also be required to attend counseling before he can return to school. The basketball team is on probation." He paused. "And I've submitted my resignation to the school board, effective at the end of the semester." Zara blinked in surprise. "Sir, I never wanted." "This isn't about you," he said gently. "It's about me finally doing the right thing. Too late, but better than never." As Zara left the office, she nearly collided with someone in the hallway, Mr. Chen, looking nothing like the furious man from days earlier. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his eyes rimmed with red. "Ms. Johnson," he said stiffly. "I was hoping to speak with you." Zara tensed, ready for accusations or threats. "My wife and I," he began, then seemed to struggle for words. "We had no idea. About Alex's behavior. The things he said to you. The things he's been doing to other students." "With all due respect, sir, I think you did," Zara replied. "You just didn't want to see it." Mr. Chen flinched as if she'd struck him. "Perhaps you're right. I was so focused on his success, the scholarships, the future I had planned for him, that I missed what kind of person he was becoming." He met her eyes. "Our children learn from watching us, don't they? What has my son learned from me?" The question hung in the air between them, neither rhetorical nor expecting an answer. Later that day, a group of students approached Zara between classes. She recognized them from the principal's office, the ones who had come forward about Alex. "We're starting something," said Raj, now speaking with newfound confidence. "An anti-bullying committee. Real this time, not just posters and slogans. We need people who aren't afraid to stand up for what's right." "We need you," added a freshman girl, looking at Zara with unmistakable admiration. Zara hesitated. Part of her still wanted to blend in, to be invisible. But that girl was gone now. "When's the first meeting?" she asked. As they walked away, making plans, Ms. Rivera, the chemistry teacher, watched from her classroom doorway. She'd witnessed everything, the bullying, the confrontation, the aftermath, and said nothing, done nothing. Like so many others who had looked the other way. "Never again," she whispered to herself and began drafting an email to support the student committee. It was time for the adults to start acting like adults. 3 months later, Westlake High School felt like a different place. The hallways that had once been a gauntlet of fear for many students now buzzed with a new energy. Posters for the anti-bullying committee's weekly meetings covered walls that used to hold only basketball championship banners. "We've got 15 new sign-ups this week," Raj announced during lunch, waving his clipboard. "And Mr. Peterson says we can use the gym for the peer mentor training on Saturday." Dunny high-fived him. "That's more than twice what we had last month." Zara smiled, watching them. What had started as a small group of bullying survivors had grown into something that was changing the entire school culture. Students had created an anonymous reporting system that actually worked. Teachers attended training on how to spot and stop bullying behavior. Even the school board had taken notice, implementing similar programs at other schools in the district. "It's all because of you," Lee said, nudging Zara. "No," she shook her head. "It's because all of you were brave enough to speak up. I just showed you it was possible to fight back." After school, Zara headed to the small practice room beside the gym where she now taught self-defense classes twice a week. Principal Thomas had suggested it before he left, a way to help other students feel as confident as she did. Today's class was already waiting, mostly younger students who had spent years feeling powerless. "Okay, everyone," Zara called, "partner up for the wrist release drill we learned last time." As the students practiced, Zara moved among them, making small corrections to their form. She was showing a 7th grade girl how to position her feet when she noticed someone watching from the doorway. Alex Chen stood there, looking different than she remembered. The arrogant smirk was gone, replaced by something more thoughtful. He'd returned to school 3 weeks ago after his suspension, keeping his head down and speaking to almost no one. The students noticed him too, falling silent. Some looked afraid, others angry. "Class dismissed early today," Zara said quietly. "Remember to practice at home." As the students filed out, giving Alex a wide berth, Zara busied herself arranging the practice mats. She wasn't afraid of him anymore, but she wasn't sure what to say either. "Your techniques are good," Alex said finally, breaking the silence. "Better than what they taught at the place my parents sent me." Zara looked up. "Your parents enrolled you in martial arts?" "Therapy, actually. Twice a week." He shifted uncomfortably. "The martial arts was my idea. I thought maybe I needed to learn control. Like you have." Zara studied him. He seemed smaller somehow, less imposing without his crowd of followers. "It's not just about physical control," she said. "It's about understanding your power and choosing how to use it." Alex nodded. "That's what my therapist says too." He took a deep breath. "I didn't come here to talk about that, though. I came to apologize. For everything. What I said to you, what I did, there's no excuse." "No," Zara agreed, "there isn't. I know you probably can't forgive me." "I wouldn't." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Your committee, the anti-bullying thing. Is it? Would someone like me even be allowed to attend?" The question hung in the air between them. 3 months ago, Zara would have laughed at the idea of Alex Chen wanting to join an anti-bullying committee. But people could change. She was living proof of that. She'd gone from hiding her strength to using it to help others. "Thursday afternoons, room 114, she said finally. "We're discussing peer pressure this week." Alex looked surprised, then gave a small nod. "Maybe I'll stop by." As he walked away, Zara thought about how strange life could be. She'd come to this school wanting nothing more than to blend in, to be invisible. Instead, she'd found her voice, and in doing so, she'd helped others find theirs too, even the bully who had once tried to silence her. Later, as she packed up her gym bag, Zara's phone buzzed with a text from her mother, "Proud of you today and every day." Zara smiled. She'd taught Alex and others a lesson, but not the brutal one they'd expected. She'd shown them something more powerful, that real strength comes from standing up not just for yourself, but for others. That transforming fear into courage can change not just one person, but an entire community. And that was a lesson worth learning.